tale of two halves for us. Obviously, we'll start with the second half. Second half, not as much ball movement. Didn't do a great job on the boards. Peters got away from us a couple of times. We tried to explain to our team that this is a well-coached team. Coach Holly's been around the block a couple of times. He knows what he's doing. He's going to make some adjustments at halftime. And Lamar Peters is an outstanding scorer, and obviously, we did a decent job on Q Witherspoon tonight, limiting his production from the three-point line. But this was a great learning lesson for us. But man, we played some terrific basketball in the first half. 12 assists, 4 turnovers. The ball was moving, rebounded the basketball. Did a good job offensive rebounding the basketball overall tonight. Braxton Key came alive for us. His best game since he's been back. We desperately needed it tonight because they were going to try to limit some of the production of some of our other wing players. But, I'm looking at games today, and I've seen other teams with 15, 16, 17-point leads, and they lose. We had a lead, and they came back and played hard, and we ended up closing it out at the end. And our crowd was outstanding. They hung in there with us through the highs and the lows, and that in terms of a high at the end of the game. We'll take it and move on.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start with Mark on the left here.
Just for you personally, are you happy after a win like that, where you get up big, but then are able to sort of cracks? Are you happy with a win like that, where you're able to sort of hang on like that at the end?
Well, I'm not going to go home and buy all my family some presents. But we'll take the win. Any win in the SEC. Mark, you've seen the teams in our league. You've watched them all, right? And you've heard about the projected, what you guys talk about, all of the projections of where everybody's going to be at the end of the year. There are 8 or 10 teams or 11 teams that's in the hunt. And Mississippi State's one of them. So some people say, well, Coach, how in the world can you lose a 17-point lead at home to Mississippi State? It happens, okay? It happens. And we got some young guys and some guys that are in their second years that sometimes the ball doesn't always go where you want it to go. But give their defense credit. You'll say, hey, make a better pass. But what about they made a great steal? It's just, it's tough, man. It's not that easy. But give our team credit for having a lot of intestinal fortitude tonight, playing with toughness. They could have just caved in. And like I told them in a timeout, some of our practices are harder than this game. So let's man up and try to get the job done because they're not going to quit.
Back left, Cecil.
Coach, could you update us again on Colin, and was he a little bit closer to ready tonight? What led to the decision to hold him out for a second?
No, he wasn't closer to ready, Cecil. So on a scale from 1 to 10, when the abdominal injury happened, if he was a 0, today he probably was a 5.5. Okay, so I wouldn't call that closer to being ready. Now this situation is a little bit different from Dante's because it's an abdominal injury. Obviously Dante was a hand come back from surgery, and he had 8 big points for us tonight. I got to see Colin in the practice first before I, allow him to play in the game. This is a little bit of a different situation.
Right side, Chandler.
But he wasn't. When we said game time decision earlier, it really wasn't a game time decision. He was out.
You mentioned Braxton came alive for you guys tonight. What specifically did you see from him tonight that was maybe you didn't see in his first couple games back from his injury?
I saw a focus in practice. I know I keep saying the same thing, guys. Practice means a lot to us, to our staff, and to me. And I don't believe a guy can come out during the course of a game and recreate himself. Okay, maybe you got some players that, I know they've said in the past, this guy was just a bad practice player, but when the lights came on, all right, that might be a rare situation. I think one used to say that about Derek McKee. All right, we don't have Derek McKees on this team. All right, but Braxton, I saw it in practice. He had one of his best practices since he's arrived on campus on yesterday. I mean, he just put it together, and he carried over into the game tonight. He had a focus, laser focus, and He made shots, he played off 2 feet, he made his teammates better, he got steals, great offensive rebound there at the end. His shot looked good, and I think he really put him in the bind a little bit, especially when he was at the 4 position.
Far right side, Alex.
Talking about that, the putback, but especially the inside play, Daniel coming in, like, when you had your droughts in that second half, guys stepped up and kind of got some points inside. Just speak about especially the Braxton's key putback there.
Yeah, we wanted to try to establish Daniel early in the game. We thought they would probably try to stay with Petty a little bit more. So, trying to punch it inside a little bit to Daniel. He made some great decisions for us early in the game. He got some offensive rebounds. He's just a hard-working kid. He's a freight train when he gets going. That dunk he had in our last game, man, that's basically part the Red Sea, get out the way, But he played well for us, gave us some good interior defensive help. Galen had some foul trouble tonight, missed a couple of easy shots inside. So Dante and Daniel's work inside was huge for us tonight because, they're a big team. Fizel and Holman and Adu, those guys are big guys.
Go front row, Drew.
Coach, 2 questions. I wanted to ask you, I know he didn't have the point total he did against Auburn, but talk about John Petty's 4 game tonight.
Yeah, that's the next level for him. You'll look at the stat sheet and say, wow, he only had 9 points. He was 2 for 7 from 3, but 4 assists. And probably could have had 4 more because there were 2 or 3 times he passed the ball with the short pass inside. We didn't finish. So he did a nice job of taking what the defense gave him and really didn't try to force too much. And after the game, he was one of the first ones saying, "We won, Coach." He didn't say, "I had 9 points, give me some more shots." He said, "We won." That's what it's all about.
And then with that first half offensive performances, how do you think the identity of this team is developing?
We always talk to him about not being paralyzed by failure or intoxicated with success. I thought we came out stumbling a little bit in the second half. We just weren't ourselves. They got the bonus early. We committed 3 or 4 fouls early in the second half. So we just got to learn how to handle prosperity because I don't know if you're going to consistently be able to survive with a 19-point lead at half and then they storm back on you and tie the game up and have some energy reserved in the tank to win the game and a couple of balls bounce your way. So the great thing about it, we'll have their attention tomorrow in the film session.
Got time for a couple more questions. Start with Matt on the back left.
Avery, Daniel kind of laughed when he was asked about whether you've been stressing the ball movement more in practice. He just kind of summed it up as, yes, he's been emphasizing that more. Just how much of an emphasis has that been?
It's a beautiful thing to watch when the ball goes from side to side. We have multiple guys that can handle the ball. Obviously, you guys had a chance to see, Herb handling the ball a little bit more in the last game. Braxton handled it in pick and roll situations. Dejan, AJ. When the ball moves, it's beautiful. It's beautiful basketball. The ball is not sticking in your hands. We call it 0.5. You got 0.5 seconds to do something with the ball. Shoot it, pass it, or drive it. And I like the way we've been trying to execute our 0.5 philosophy and not just holding the ball or somebody dribbling, maybe 19 times on a possession because nobody's open or we're not having great execution. So the ball movement was really good for us.
Anything else for Coach?
And big guys love when the ball moves to them. Okay? That's why,
Any other questions? All right.
All right, thanks, guys.